My name's Duncan Slater, and I spent 14 years in the military before I was unfortunately medically discharged. I was medically discharged because I was injured in Afghanistan in 2009. After a year of rehabilitation, trying to learn how to walk again, I had to undergo double amputations and lose both legs below the knee, which meant I couldn't carry on in service anymore. I was a sergeant in charge of around 30 British guys and about 50 Afghan soldiers as well. So quite a lot of people under my command. As you come up the ranks and you're sort of subjected to more and more freedom in your own leadership style, I think you kind of tailor it to the people under your command. So the way I was with the Afghans that were under my command was very different to how I was with the British soldiers. The thing that has driven me to succeed on every operational tour that I've been on is empathy with my guys, if that makes sense. So you're out doing a very dangerous job in a very unforgiving environment, so the only solidarity and the only support you've got are the guys under your command. You know, they need to rely on you, but also you're one person. You need to rely on all 30 of those guys to get anything done. And then after the amputations, they had to reset the clock and get me out of a wheelchair into prosthetic limbs. When you spent a long time kind of leading by example and pushing the limits of your own physical sort of strengths, I kind of found that I didn't know where my boundaries were anymore, and I needed to find that again. I gave myself a challenge, and the challenge was to cycle from Land's End to John O'Groats. So once I did that, I kind of realised that all my physical expectations of having no legs were completely moved. I've just done 1,000 miles on a bike, what else can I do? So that's where Walking with the Wounded came in. They were looking for volunteers to ski to the South Pole. It took us 2 weeks to complete the 200 miles. And I was the first double amputee ever to reach the South Pole. There was a soldier that was completely blind. His name was Ivan Castro. He was my motivation all the way along that expedition. To watch that man ski along just as I was gave me a great deal of motivation. You know, how can I complain about having 2 legs missing when he's completely blind, falling over 30-40 times a day? Unbelievable. So on the last day, he shouted down the line and asked if I would take him to the South Pole, so ski the last 10 kilometres with him. So they attached him by 2 metal rods to my sledge, my palk, and I had the great honour of taking him up there. He was the first guy that gave me a hug when we got to the South Pole, and we sort of shook hands, and he turned around and said to me, "Hey, the blind guy and the guy with no legs, we made it, didn't we?" And you know, that's one of the best achievements, I think, to look back and think of that day. It was amazing. To anyone that's in charge of anything, I think to have 2 qualities, honesty being the first one, and integrity is the second. And I think third to that, if there was going to be a third, is humility. Anyone that wants to advance in their career, in their life, is itching for more responsibility. And you know, leaders are one of them people that tend to take everything on their own 2 shoulders. Give it to other people, let them sort of flourish and flower. Would I go back to the day that I got blown up and change things? And I think strangely, as a sense of most people, I wouldn't change a thing, because the people I've met, the help I've received, and the way that life's turning out now is, honestly, I couldn't have written it. I couldn't have written down the chances and the kindness people have shown me, so I wouldn't have changed things, no way. The subject I'll be talking in is how can leaders find motivation from within themselves? And I think it's important to point out that any leader, you know, any leadership role, any job that you are the leader or the head in that job, it can be quite lonely and daunting at times. It really can. And I'll be talking about just how lonely it can be when it all goes wrong, but how rewarding it is when it all goes right. And if you invest wisely in your training of your guys and you give them the trust that they deserve, how it can save the day, and it can turn out just exactly how you need it to turn out.